Yeah. So how I'm going to do this is I already set up a project based on yesterday's class, and there are two buttons here: turn on dark mode and turn on black mode, and turn on light mode rather. And when you click on any of these buttons, the background will change, and the button also, only one button will be left. So that is what's going to happen. So let's just get to it. So now we have two buttons. Let's tackle removing one button based on a condition. And as you can see now, we're conditionally rendering two card components here. If you remember, I made a card component. Let me quickly show you that. So you have the card.jsx here. So this on click, we've not set the on click properties, but we're going to do that right now. So right here, I'm going to put an on click, and I'm going to call this maybe dark mode handler, and I'm going to do the same here. On click, I'm going to call it light mode handler. Light mode handler, right? Okay, so those two are done. Then we have to create the functions up here. So we have const dark mode handler, which is an anonymous factorial function, and we can just copy and paste this right here and call this light mode handler. So what are we going to do inside this dark mode and light mode handler? As shown in previous tutorials, all we're going to do is to change its dark and its light. So in the dark mode handler, I think this first card is for one. Okay, the first card is for dark, is for light mode. Okay, this is what I'll do. It's dark and it has one. I think I made a mistake. This is meant to be 0 and this is meant to be 1. So all I'm doing here is tapping into the list array, which is this list array. The first item is at 0, the second one is at 1. If you know JavaScript, this should not be confusing to you. So if we go back to the code, you can see turn on dark mode and turn on light mode. So when you click on turn on dark mode, I want light mode button to be there. Only light mode button. So what I'll do is go back to the code, right? And inside here we have dark mode handler, right? And what I want to now do is set is dark. I'm going to set it false, right? So what I'll do is when you click on dark mode handler, light mode 1 comes. So just to be sure that the other one, I can just redo this, set is light and set it to true, right? Then I can go back here, Control C, then paste it here so I don't waste time. And I can go here, put true here, okay, then change this to false. So what I will just do, if I refresh, when I click on this, it goes to the, then you can turn on light mode back, turn on dark mode, turn on light mode, turn on dark mode. So it's easy to see what is going on. And let me just, so as to be consistent, put an O, capital letter O. But that's not actually what we're doing. What we're trying to do now is change this background to the appropriate color when we click on the button. So if you click on light mode, it should be white. When you click on dark mode, it should be black. So how you do that, I'm going to do that with normal CSS and using CSS modules to show you the difference. So inside here, inside our class.css, we already have an .appDark which changes the background color to dark. So we want to conditionally add this class based on that is dark state or is light state depending. So what we can do is that inside this app, inside this class name app, we can put a template literal there. So sorry. So put the template literal there. Then we can define some things. Sorry. Put a template literal there. Then we can define some things. So the first thing we will do is can put this, then it has to have this. So you can do is, if it's dark, you know what? The first thing we'll do is outside it, we'll add, here we'll just have app, right? Space. Then here, all we wanna do is if it's dark, right? If it's dark, we can then add um app dark, which adds that, right? And else, which is this, you can do no. So in one of my previous videos, I already explained what this does. What this is saying is that if is dark is true, you should return this is dark, app underscore dark, else return nothing. Else return nothing. So we can basically, what that basically does is when is dark is on, so if we put this, you can notice that turn on light mode, turn on dark mode, turn on light. We can see the background is not showing, it's not doing what it's actually supposed to do. But I'm going to correct that very soon. I'm going to correct that very soon. So, okay. Okay. Going back here and just changing these numbers. Change this back to 1. I guess I was correct the first time when I was planning. And change this back to 0. So when we then go back, can notice, let's refresh. If we do turn on, okay. If we click on turn on night mode, turn on dark mode, turn on light mode, turn on dark mode, turn on light mode, turn on dark mode. So you can see that actually works. So what I can do now is, let me just set this to false originally. Changing that to false originally, if I refresh, I say turn on light mode, turn on dark mode, turn on light mode, turn on dark mode. So what we essentially did here was to conditionally render, to conditionally render a card depending on its state, and also to conditionally add a class to a div or an element based on that same state using this format where I say if is dark is true, I put a question mark, then what comes after this question mark is what is going to be returned. Then if it's false, return null, basically. So these were, or you could also do, instead of it doing, since that null is not doing anything, you can just put 2 ampersands, right, and put, sorry, and put inside here, right, app dark. So any of them would work rather. So if you notice it still works, if you refresh, turn on light mode, everything turns light, turn on dark mode, everything turns black. So as I said before, I wanted to show you how to do it with template literals. So how we do that, first of all, if you remember from the previous video, how to do that with CSS modules. If you remember from the previous video, I told you that you have to add classes from wherever you named your CSS, and you have to rename your CSS to include CSS modules. So you go to your app.css, you have to change the name. Right now it's app.css, but it's supposed to be app.module.css. Okay, since that's done, we can now go back here and change this also to app.module.css. But as you can see, this won't exactly work because this won't exactly work because of this right here. Because now you have classes classes. So you have to use classes dot something. So what we can do here is, instead of this, we can include another, um, just the way it's here, you can include another one. And what you now have here is classes dot app, right? And what you now have here, instead of it to be a string, it will just be classes dot app dark. So if you go back here, you notice that it still works. You notice that it still works. So this class name also has to be classes dot list div. Go back to our code, fresh. Okay, that didn't work. Just Control C, Control X. Okay, I know why it didn't work. So you write classes because I didn't get the names well. Since it's an object, you can do this, right? This is another way of using the classes. If you don't use the dot notation, you can do this. Then inside the square brackets, just include the string, the name as a string. That is the name of the class. And when you refresh, everything go back to normal. So just to recap, what we did in this video was essentially to conditionally render a component. That is this, conditionally render this component, which is, if it is dark, we have this card that says it's dark, turn on light mode rather, and if it's light, we have this card that says turn on light mode. And also we also added these classes conditionally. So like this is what is usually used to make dark mode switches. So on some websites, there will be a switch that can turn on dark mode or turn off dark mode. Let me show you an example with my portfolio. If I go, I think I still have it here. I go to history. If I scroll down, I should have a link to my portfolio because I was working on it yesterday. Okay. Okay. So now this is a project I'm working on, right? And in this project, notice that there's a switch here, and this switch can turn things on or off. And you can notice also this text, that if it's in dark mode, the text is white, and if it's in light mode, the text is black. So to be able to change the color of the text based on the condition, that is how I did this. So you can see that it's very useful. Also the button, notice that now there's some things there, these animations, all those things are done using conditional addition of styles or animations or anything. The same thing with these buttons, the exact same thing. So yeah, it's very useful to know because it's used a lot in projects. Okay, I think that's all for today. Day 15 will be posted very soon. I don't think I'll wait till tomorrow to post day 15, but we'll post it very soon. Or if I don't post day 14 today, I'll be posting it tomorrow with day 15. So I'll be back on track by Wednesday. So yeah, that's been it. Till day 15. Bye.